Today, we are announcing that 30-year amortizations on insured mortgages will be available for all first-time homebuyers. This really is about fairness for every generation. It's about making that first home more available for young Canadians, for first-time homebuyers.
We stop there, and there you go. There's a couple of the changes. This was announced just earlier this afternoon by the Finance Minister, Chrystia Freeland. Terry Kilakos is on the line. He's a chartered real estate and mortgage broker and president of Northeast Mortgages. So, Terry, a couple of what seem like pretty big things or not. How significant is this?
It is huge, and I am actually very happy, and I welcome this because we've been waiting for this increase to occur on the $1 million cap for a couple of years now, and I'm grateful and I'm happy that they've actually made the move now.
So that's just on from 1 million to 1.5 million. That's the price cap for insured mortgages, right? Explain what that means. What does that mean?
So basically, whenever you get a mortgage right now, if you were buying a property at under $1 million, so let's say you were paying $999,999.99, the minimum down payment that you would need as a buyer would be $75,000. But now with the new and with the old system in place, so where you were capped at $1 million, the minute you would go 1 penny more to $1 million, that minimum down payment would automatically go up to $200,000. And that's because they were capped on insuring the mortgages. Now with this new thing that they're doing, we're going to be able to insure those mortgages going all the way up to 1.5 million, which what I would want to see is what they're going to be looking at as a minimum down payment, but definitely it's going to be less than 20%. And like I said, that's welcome news, and it's welcome news for a lot of, Canadians who, in Montreal and in Quebec, maybe we don't have as many homes that are, over $1 million, but when you're looking at other provinces like Ontario or you're looking at British Columbia, homes are over $1 million. And I think that it's going to open up a lot more doors for a lot more people. No pun intended.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. So that's part one. You heard the finance minister say part two, the government expanding its 30-year mortgage amortization to include first-time home buyers who would buy any type of home, as well as anybody buying a newly built home. What does that do?
So 30-year amortizations are around even now. If you're refinancing a property, if you have an existing mortgage and you need to restructure it, you're able to go to a 30-year amortization already. However, it was restricted for people that were buying a home that was insured by CMHC or one of the other two insurers in Canada. So you were capped out on 25 years. Now, with this new change, we're going to actually be able to allow people to go up to 30 years, which again also is a welcome change because interest rates are higher. With the stress test in place and everything, it does make it more complicated for people to qualify for those mortgages if they're capped out on 25 years. So now going to 30, it's definitely going to help out. The government had made that change for first-time home buyers or CMHC-insured mortgages for August 1st, where if it was a new build, they would allow you to go to 30 years. But now they've made it across the board, which I think is great.
Okay, so this is good news kind of any way you slice it, right? That's what you're basically describing
absolutely.
Here. Okay. I know there's a couple other parts to this which we haven't talked about, but I know the minister also talked about, or I think the Justice Minister Varani today, releasing drafts for a Bill of Rights for renters. Now, this is something that's been talked about provincially. I'd not heard it talked about federally, but the idea is the government, which apparently mentioned this a few months ago and hadn't said anything since then, will prevent practices like reno-evictions, and we know that's been a big issue here. So the news, as I said, seems to be good whether you're a buyer or a renter. This is good news.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. In Quebec, renters in Quebec have the TAL, or formerly known as the Régie de Logement, which really protects them. In the rest of the country, depending on where you live, that doesn't really exist, and there's more weight or more rights given to the landlords as opposed to the renters. Whereas with something like this, if this was federal, it would actually allow for everyone to kind of have equal rights across the country. And I do believe, as a landlord myself, I'm very cognizant of the fact that, my tenants, it's their home that they're living in. And, I try and be as accommodating and as reasonable as I can whenever we're doing increases or whatnot. But that's not everyone, right? There's landlords out there that are going to try and jack up the rent like crazy. So I think that doing something like this is going to benefit renters, and I think in the long run will benefit landlords as well to a certain degree.
Yeah. The last thing I will say, and I'm reading part of the statement, the minister today also said the government is, and she said this, absolutely not considering a home equity tax on primary residences above a certain value. A lot of people wonder if that was coming. It's not. She said the government absolutely will not do that.
Yeah, I noticed that also. I think that's great. It remains to be seen if they're going to, stick to that. But I do know that it was part of the think tank. There was a think tank that was put in charge of actually looking at whether or not it would be a good idea. I was sitting earlier in the year. I was sitting as chairman of the Canadian Mortgage Brokers Association, and that was one of the things that we fought against as well. Canadians pay enough tax. We don't need to pay taxes also on our primary residence.
I think we can all agree on that. Terry, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Terry Kilakos, you too, chartered real estate mortgage broker, president of Northeast Mortgages. So good news today from the federal government on buyers and renters and all that. Probably more on that a little later on in the show.